Coming to you live from the Gavin Bonds Fucks Baseball Studios. Skull Fucks Baseball Studios. It's a Bleav in the Southside, boys. I'm Steve-O. You can find me on Twitter at Drunk Shy Sox Fan. Joining me, as usual, my co-host, the one, the only, Final Five hater, Carrie, at that Base by Fan.
What's going on, Steve? Thanks for the introduction. It's been a while. I know went to Vegas for the bachelor party, and then last week was just kind of a wash, and then you also bailed on two of our friends here because you went MIA, so it's good to be back.
Yeah, you know what? Can I explain can I have an alibi? Is that okay?
Sure.
My alibi is that I went to the Sunday Sox game where they broke the losing streak against Tampa Bay. And that game was... What's up?
Is that when you sat with Gabe?
That's when I sat with Gabe. And Gabe got me really drunk. Like, very drunk. Gabe was buying me beers left and right, you know?
Are you serious?
And no, of course not.
Okay.
No, my dad was there with me, though, buying beers left and right. And we brought Tommy along. Our good buddy, Hot Take Tommy. Oh, I know you love him so much. And all of his amazing baseball takes. You love them. But we brought him to the game, so he bought beers too. So the beers were flowing, most definitely. And we also tailgated that day too. So there was just a lot of drinking involved. That's my excuse. I don't know if it's a good one, but it's an excuse nonetheless.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
No, I'm just joking. I get it. I just thought it was pretty funny being, I was just like in Vegas and I'm just reading all this and Jim's like texting me and I'm like, I don't know what to fucking tell you. I'm not near anything right now. I'm not near civilization right now. You know?
No, exactly. How was Vegas, by the way?
Don't ever go to Vegas for 5 days. Big mistake, but a great time. My liver, it is not well. My lungs are not well. I stayed up till like 4:30 every night. It's just a different place, and I fucking love it there. But like 5 days, like Friday night, I didn't get home till 5:00, which is 7:00 7:00 Chicago time. So literally, like talking to my fiance who was getting ready for her day, and I was just still getting home.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I can only imagine how hard this last work week was for you.
I struggled. I called my boss Sunday and I was like, listen, I'm not coming in tomorrow. Like that's out of the question. I'm going to work from home and I'll be back Tuesday. So I just worked Tuesday, Wednesday in the office. And this whole week was that's why I didn't do anything this weekend. I'm like, I just want my body to recover. So.
Fair enough. Also, I saw your final five from today, Carrie. That was fantastic. Calling me Rockford scum. I very much appreciate it.
It is what you are, but we still love you. Thank you. I would like to point out that when I did go to Vegas, the Sox did not win one game, and every single day I was there, I was putting money on the other team. There you go. And I was winning money just against the White Sox. So, like, Vegas was good to me with the White Sox, so that was fun.
There you go. Fantastic. Betting against your own team. I never have it in my heart to bet against my own team, unfortunately. I'm glad you do.
I like money, so.
Fair. Are you still on the fuck the White Sox train after they have won 4 out of their last 6 back-to-back series against both the Twins and the Reds?
Is it have they won 5 out of 7?
Yeah, it would technically be 5 out of 7.
Yeah, I'll take that. But, yeah, still fuck the White Sox. I just go back to that call that guy made, Berto, before Vegas and everything like that. Just like that encapsulates how I feel about the White Sox still. Like it in the end, it doesn't really fucking matter because nothing's changing with this asshole up top and the assholes in the front office. So
absolutely.
Cool, you can win, but like – does it really matter? Like, yeah, cool. We're going to end up being 500 this year. I can smell it already.
So you think there's zero hope left for a playoff push?
I mean, they're going to be – if they're flirting with what they're doing now, I mean, what's their record? What are they? They're
What
12
are
and
they?
23.
12 and 23. 12 and 23 now after today's
You still go
monster
on like
victory.
a 7-game losing streak, right? And then you like do what the White Sox do and like no, they'll go on a 7-game winning streak and then like lose 4 in a row. Like you're still fucked. You know what I'm saying? Like I just think that they've put themselves in a hole here. Like last year, it was the same thing. They lost 10 games in a row last year, and they never recovered. They never recovered. So.
It's a really deep hole to come back from. I always use the Nationals. I don't know why I always use them as a benchmark because they had Anthony Rendon who went off that year. They had Juan Soto who developed into an incredible hitter that year. They had Scherzer and Strasburg and Corbin when he was good. I don't think the White Sox are built that way, unfortunately.
Adam Eaton, who was good.
But yeah, I mean, even Spanky had a solid season that year, right? But I use them as a frame of reference, and I use their 19-31 start as the benchmark for okay, are you really out of it or are you not really out of it? I mean, if you tell me the White Sox go, what would that be? Would that be 7-8? Am I doing the math right there? Yeah, 7-8. That would be where they're at, right? And I think they're going to be better than 7-8 in their next 15 games. I'm not completely counting them out yet. And maybe that's just what do you call that? The eternal spring of optimism that I have in my heart as an educator, as somebody that teaches the youth of America and works in a school. Maybe that's what it is. I can't put my thumb on it. I'm not ready to write this team off completely yet. Tell me I'm crazy, Kerry.
I think you are. I mean, I don't know. I just don't see it. I mean, their record. I mean, like they should have swept Minnesota, right? Like you got to finish that game off, and even against Cincy, like you had the lead, like they could have had what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-game winning streak right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got Kansas City. You got 4 against Kansas City. I think you have to take all 4. Like Kansas City's not a good team, and if you and I think if you split, it's really bad. If you split against Kansas City.
Oh, you can't afford to split against Kansas City. That's a series where you need to take at least 3 out of 4. Like, yeah. I'm not going to be that guy that says, okay, terrible team comes into town, you have to take all 4 games or you have to take all 3 games. We have to remember 2 out of 3 ain't bad in baseball, right? If you consistently do it, if you consistently take 2 out of 3, and that's what's going to take for the White Sox. You're going to either have to rattle off a big win streak, which they haven't done yet. Maybe it's somewhere down the line, or you have to keep rattling off 2 out of 3, take 3 out of 4, another 2 out of 3. You do the math, in the words of Will Ferrell, right? And is that old school? The math seems to check out. Yeah. I mean, when you take, let's say, you take 3 out of 4 and then you take 2 out of 3. Okay, that's 5 out of 8, right? Am I doing my math right there? Yeah,
I think so.
And it's a 625 winning percentage. I mean, the Sox have a 625 winning percentage for the rest of the year. You're still sitting at, I think that's like an 88 win season, Kerry. I mean, it's pretty good, an 88 win season, especially in the Central. So yeah. I'm not 100% willing to write them off yet. TA
you also back. Are forgetting that Eloy Jimenez is going to be gone until like July, probably.
Yeah, I mean, they said, what was it, 4 to 6 weeks with appendicitis?
That's being like optimistic. I remember Adam Dunn had this and came back too early and just sucked. I mean, it's not his fault that this happened. This is like crazy, but the guy just doesn't play. I mean, he just doesn't play, but he gets paid to not play, and it drives people crazy, So you don't have Eloy anymore. Okay, and you have nobody that can supplement losing that bat. So once again, you're in the same situation you've been in for the past 3 to 4 years now with this franchise. Is like there's no depth in this franchise, and the only depth you did have was at third base, and they're both fucking hurt. So like,
Yeah, well, Yoan's currently raking down in AAA. He hit a home run
He'll
today.
probably be up for this series.
Yeah, hits a home run in a rehab stint game today. And he should be back up very, very shortly. This lineup, I hate to be once again the eternal wellspring of optimism, is so much better and actually, like, at least from a talent perspective, could be considered a playoff team if Tim and Yoan are on the field and they're playing well. I'll just leave it at that. Like, your infield is no longer Hanser, Alberto, and Lenin Sosa, and let's shuffle in Jake Burger, who has been fantastic. Don't get me wrong about Jake Burger. He's actually been freaking fantastic, but we all know about Jake Burger's sample sizes too, right? Yeah. On top of that too, like, with Aloy out, you're going to need, once Burger's back, you slot him into DH, right?
Yeah.
You can move some pieces around, and the lineup isn't that bad on paper. Well, they shouldn't be that bad, I should say. I'll be honest, and we ragged our guy Senor Sox for this earlier in the year. You know what my biggest concern is?
Pitching.
Starting
pitching?
You know, it starts with starting pitching and then works its way into relief pitching. And for me, it's really the starting pitching right now because, number one, they can't go any longer than 6 innings. Not a single guy in this rotation, outside of a blip start here and there, goes longer than 6 innings. Lynn isn't good enough anymore. Gio's too inconsistent. He gets his 1 in 5, 6 starts where he goes longer than that. Cease has been mediocre at best lately. Michael Kopech, same thing. So, and don't even get me started on Clev. Clev is a scrap heap pile grab that this team thought would be decent. Well, this front office apparently thought would be decent, and he's not good.
And everybody could have saw that coming too, which is just funny. But yeah, I mean, there's only a few, like, highlights you have in the bullpen too. I mean, and it's funny because they're the guys that aren't even making money, which just encapsulates Rickon as a fucking GM too,
Yep.
Greg Santos, Kenyon Middleton, like, they're not making shit. They're doing the best. It's so funny.
Yeah, Keenan Middleton and Gregory Santos have been freaking, honestly, especially for what they're getting paid, fantastic. Kendall Graveman continues to be a bum. Joe Kelly in his last couple appearances has looked actually fantastic, which gets me a little bit pumped about what he
knows he's going to get traded. That's why.
Maybe. Yeah, and I mean, you can't overpay players. It's one thing, once again, you paid the bullpen, which this team has been known to do a really good job with reclamation projects in the bullpen. So why would you do that? On top of that, you then guaranteed money to guys like Luis and Aloy and Yoan even, who hadn't proven it yet, which, just goes again to the indictment of Rickon, right? Like, this, as much as we want to blame Jerry, as much as we want to blame Kenny, Rickon.
It's a full effort of some.
It is. Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, Liam Hendricks does come back, so, like, the bullpen should just get better just by guys moving down, like Liam gets the closer job, and then you're going to have guys like, Graven go back to his 8th inning and Joe Kelly 8th inning and Santos even, like Lopez probably gets less pressure on him and goes to the 7th inning, where he can just be a setup guy and he becomes better just from that. It's the starters. Yeah, I agree. Senor definitely, called that one. I mean, Giolito's been pretty good actually so far, and because he knows he's going to get traded as well. And then you have
he's in a contract year, right?
Exactly, and they're not going to keep him, so they're going to get, even if they're in or out of it, they're going to trade him. So, and then Cease has been on and off, but like Kopech's just not giving me anything, and Lynn too. So
yeah, I mean, I know you were ragging on me earlier about my Kopech comments, but I mean, what are we to expect from Michael Kopech at this point? Like, let's go down that route. Is he going to be a starter for the future?
I mean, probably, just because, like, people are going to keep giving him chances because of the talent level, because if he does hit, then like you've got a really good pitcher. But I don't know. I don't even know if he's going to be a bullpen guy. He's kind of, he lets up home runs. I mean, he let up 4 home runs today, and he does walk people. So would the bullpen even be better for him? So I don't think so.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm with you on that too, and I know there's been talk of that Kopech to the bullpen thing. The problem with Kopech to the bullpen that I want to bring up is that Kopech during today's game got, maybe it was the run insurance that helped him, but maybe it wasn't because he turned around at the bottom of the second and also got shelled, right? As that game progressed, Kopech got better. He can't do that out of the pen. He has to go out and be good from the first pitch he goes out there.
Exactly.
And that's not how Michael Kopech is. He's almost got like the Lucas Giolito effect. Like, don't fuck up in the first inning. Remember the whole joke about how Lucas Giolito would always give up a bomb in the first inning? Like, Michael Kopech, first 2 to 3 innings, like, keep your fingers crossed that he doesn't, get his tits completely lit. So that's where I'm at with Kopech. The book is still out on him, and I think the stuff is fantastic. He's really got to develop another pitch. He can't be a 2-pitch guy and succeed in this league.
No, you've seen that even with like Giolito, right? And he was that for a long time, so completely agree there.
Yeah. And I know Cease's problems in particular have been at home, as Jordan Miller brings up here in the comments. I just hope that that's just kind of a mental thing for him. I hope he gets back to, like, he's got to prove it. I think that's the problem is, like, a lot of props were given to Dylan Cease over last year, and rightfully so. He was fantastic, but he's got to go back to proving it. He can't be a one-year wonder. The White Sox can't afford that. And maybe it is the cold weather. Who knows? Our guy Sal in the comments, and everybody who is in the comments, from Jordan Miller to Gabe to Shane Spags to Sal here. Thank you for joining us in the comment section. This is always fun to have your guys' comments here to talk about White Sox baseball. Yeah, I mean, as you said, Kerry, they could be on a 7-game winning streak right now, but they're not, because they're not an elite team, right? I think an elite team, if this bullpen was elite, if this offense was elite, and they could finish the job, then yeah, maybe they would be on a 7-game win streak. They're not. So here we are, and the White Sox are not even middling still. They're still 12-23. And as much as I rag on the pitching too, the offense hasn't been super fantastic either. Who do you want to see step up the most on this offense, Kerry?
I want to see home runs again. I don't know what
home runs help
runs on this team, but like, I just want home runs. I want Andrew Vaughn to hit home runs, and I want, Luis's bat has lit up a little bit lately, but I want Andrew Vaughn to hit home runs, and I want, when Yohan comes back, he needs to hit home runs. I mean, I don't get what the problem is with this team. Like, they just can't hit home runs. I mean, well, one guy that that's actually been pretty good this year has been Yasmani Grandal. So, I mean, I'd like to see
fantastic.
His bat's just been very consistent this year, and he's been back to normal. So, I'd like to see just Andrew Vaughn, I think, just kind of is that guy. I mean, I know he's actually been pretty decent lately, but I'm saying that home run wise, like, come on, 3 home runs. Let's, like, especially with Eloy out, someone's got to step up. And then the other person I'd like to say is Tim Anderson.
Yep, right there in the comments from our guy Gabe.
Yeah, Tim Anderson. I mean, no home runs. I don't think he's hit a home run. Someone put something out like since like May of last year.
He hasn't hit a home run. He's hit 1 home run in the last calendar year. And I know injury plays into that as well, but he's hit 1 single home run in the last calendar year.
It's horrible. Like
365-day cycle. That's
he's got to go deep.
Horrific. And I know he's more of a contact guy. So, like,
he should still be hitting at least 15 home runs from that guy.
Give me 10 to 12. Give me 10 to 12 out of him in a season, and I'm happy, okay? Especially if he's going – here's the thing. If he's hitting 10 to 12 and he's hitting at a 310, 320 clip, then okay. But, yeah, He hasn't hit a homer since last May, apparently. That's
I mean,
absurd.
he's hit 17, 20, 18, 17. I mean, he's used to hit. He had 10 home runs in the 60-game year. I mean, he's definitely capable of hitting 20 home runs a year. So I don't know what happened with his power. So
Yeah.
hitting for contact, though. He's hitting 268. I mean,
yeah, he's not doing that. That's the problem. He's not doing that. His on-base percentage right now is 310. That's what his batting average should be. So that's the guy for me. If you ask me that question, who's got to step up the most, it's Tim Anderson. Because when this offense was elite, he was, as I think maybe it was Jason Benetti who first said it, right? The straw that stirs the drink.
Yeah.
Okay. He's the guy that's got to get everything going. And you can't have your leadoff hitter be a guy that's hitting 269, 310, 343. That's yeah, it's unacceptable. And now let me just start with batting. I mean, fielding is one thing, right? I'm talking strictly offense. That is just unacceptable numbers from a leadoff hitter. Props to Yasmani Grandal again. Outside of Jake Berger, he's been their best hitter. Would love to see more pop, like you said. 3 home runs so far. That would be about 15 for the season. Yasmani Grandal has to hit more than 15 homers, I think, in order for this team to be cooking, especially like you said, with a Loy out. Vaughn, I think, is going to start heating up, which is good. Luis, man, I mean, talk about streaky players, man. Talk about streaky players. All of a sudden hot for a series, all of a sudden cold for a series. So I'm hoping the years and the experience continue to be on his side because we've seen too much inconsistency out of him. Yes, OPS matters. It is not. Is it racist, Gary? Is OPS racist?
It's very racist.
Okay. Maybe that's why this guy has great OPS, right?
Yeah.
Andrew Vaughn. It's okay. Andrew Vaughn's OPS is a 727 this year. He's got to be better too. So that's league average. He's hitting league average. I want him to be better than a league average hitter. He's your first baseman. Your first baseman has to be better than a league average hitter on a good team.
100%.
So, Gavin Bonds today, Carrie. You want to talk about Gavin Bonds today? How about that moonshot?
I'm not a big fan of him. You know what I think of him. It's just like every other couple of days he sprinkles in, a good game and then just goes back to, Shriek he'll go like 4 for like 30 or some shit like that. So
yeah.
He's got to step up for sure during this stretch.
Yes, absolutely.
Without Eloy.
100%. Both him and Luis, I'd really love to see have over a OPS of 800, or at least close to it. Luis is 789, so not terrible. That's pretty good. Just consistency is good. Well, Carrie, we got an upcoming series for the White Sox. That's
Kansas City.
Yeah, on the calendar, we got 4 games against the one and only Kansas City Royals starting tomorrow. It's on the road, 4 games at Kauffman. And then
Pedro Grifol return game.
Yep. And then a 3-game set against Houston. How, first off, Pedro Grifol revenge series, Carrie? Is that what you're predicting?
Yes. Yeah, he knows these guys pretty well. You got your first game, Cease versus Greinke. Greinke knows how to pitch to these guys. I mean, you remember what he said? He's like, you just got to pitch these guys low and outside, and they'll go every time. So I'm hoping the Sox can get to him early, to knock him out. But I'm just hoping that Dylan Cease shuts them down, and I think he will. Cease tends to pitch well against the Royals, I believe. So.
Yeah, Cease versus Greinke. I don't know what the line's going to be, but I really like the White Sox in Game 1, especially since Cease has been better on the road this year. I think a win like today, pumps a little bit of life into this team. And, they got to turn around and get on the jet and head to Kansas City today from Cincinnati. So hopefully on short-ish rest, they do well. Then it's Giolito versus Jordan Lyles, and then whoever the Sox have going against Brad Keller. That's what's probably win.
Lynn, and then you have Clevenger on ESPN Plus. It says Thursday day game against Brady Singer. That's why I think you win the first 3. You can afford to lose the last one with that scumbag Clevenger. So,
well, and on top of that too, they got a stretch of games here. They played, I mean, they play. Hold on, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, then turn around, go home, play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and this is on top of playing this entire weekend. Yeah, it's dog eat dog. It's the dog days of summer already. It's heating up, and these boys are going to be playing a lot of games down the stretch. So who knows? Maybe if they do win the first 3, maybe it's a situation where this team puts together a Thursday special lineup, like Tony La Russa Sunday special. So I hope that's the case. I really do. I'd love to see them sweeping Kansas City. I don't think they will. I'm going to go with Brady Singer has not been good this year. So I'm going to go with
shuts the down usually.
Yeah, win the Cease game, win the Geo game, lose the Keller game because somehow Brad Keller pitches well against us, and win the Singer game. That's what I'm going to go with. So, bold predictions here from your boy.
Okay.
So, I hope we're right, Carrie. I hope it's 3 out of 4 because they really need it.
I'm just going to say 3 out of 4. I don't know who's going to win what game or whatever, but I just think, I think they actually do win 3 out of 4. And if they can somehow squeak a 4-game sweep, then, you might be actually cooking here. So we'll
Absolutely.
see.
Absolutely. Well, we're closing in on a half hour here real quick, Carrie. You got any final thoughts, final 5 thoughts maybe on this team and their performance this weekend?
Yeah, finally you're seeing a little bit of life with this baseball team. Sucks about Eloy because you really needed that bat in there, especially when you get Yoan back. It's just like every time you get somebody back, somebody leaves. It's just a revolving fucking door. So, I just want to see some consistency and just get him healthy and, hopefully he's back in May, June, in like July sometime, and they're maybe still in it, and then it's go time from there. So I don't know. It's just keep winning. That's all you can do. I don't care about anything else. Just win.
Absolutely. And this is why, as you mentioned before, depth is so important. This way you don't have to trot. And even though he had a good game today, you don't have to consistently trot Hanser Alberto or Lenin Sosa or Romy Gonzalez out onto the field, or, rely on Oscar Colas to produce, who's, now back down in AAA. I'm sure they'll hang the jersey up and the batting gloves for Eloy, win one for the Gipper style. It's so fucking pathetic. I really hope they don't do that again. The freaking funeral for Eloy or for anybody. It's just go out there and just win baseball games.
Just win baseball games. I don't care about anything else.
Exactly. Go out there, win games. I'm not completely writing off the season yet, but man, they got to keep up this consistently keep winning 2 out of 3. That's what's going to matter.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you again for those of you that tuned into us live. For those of you that don't tune into us live or, are catching us for the first time, make sure you rate, subscribe, review to the Sons of wrong show. Bleav in the Southside show. We are the Bleav boys. Not those bums over at Sons of Honarchy. We are on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Casts, wherever you listen to your podcasts, as well as live on YouTube every single episode. So make sure you hit subscribe and like on YouTube. Thanks so much for tuning in. We will see y'all hopefully around weekend. Who knows? Peace.
See ya.